Hi everybody, Colin Stevenson here. How are you all doing? I'm here today with my hero, John Lenhart. Hi, John.
Hi.
Today we are going to run off the back of our last video, which was on leadership. Now, today we're going to speak about dissolving world issues through leadership and how we can dissolve things on a larger scale to make everyone's life better. John, over to you, my friend.
So the way I like to set this up is I like to say to people, in the last video we talked about 94% of people are at what we call 160. 94% of people are just drifting. They're just running automatically, okay? A lot of people call that an animal thought process.
Yep.
And what I like to say is to consultants especially, or to people talking to consultants, what are these consultants telling you? How should you approach that person who's at 160? Now, what most consultants do is they say, keep that person at 160 and make money off of them.
Yep.
So there are people out there, and really the value of getting all the way to uniqueness is what I call the how. How, not what to do, but how things work. If you stop at the why, you can deceive people. So when you see a consultant saying it's all about the why, what they're really saying is you have a step up on this person floating. The person's floating in the what. If you stop at the why, you can control that person. So here's my plan as your consultant. Let's focus on the why, control these people walking around in animals, appeal to their emotions, make money off them, and wreck the world.
Yep.
Okay, now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to help you make money, but we're going to ruin the world for everybody and have the world go the wrong direction. Yay! So that's where I'm like, do you realize how many consultants are out there wrecking the world by keeping the population at this 160 animal level? The second strategy, and there are very few consultants who do this, a lot of coaches will do this, is let's help this person up to what we call 80, or help them up to the why, or let's help them up to logic.
Yep.
Now, in order to do that, it's a program. I have a program for you. There's all these steps. You have to do these steps every day. That's a lot of hard work. That's a lot of effort. And you will be using my program and consulting with me for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm going to make you dependent on me. I'm going to help you every day, and I'm going to do this forever. What I do and what real leadership does is it helps people from their uniqueness. That's that how. Helps them flow, helps them bring out their uniqueness and lead so that they can go help other people. And they don't need to talk to me. I always ask people, if you go talk to a consultant or you talk to a coach, how long, is there a sunset date? Is there a date when you're going to be done getting executive coaching from that person? And they look at you like, well, no. And those always end bad. Notice that's always going to end bad. At some point, someone's going to finally say, like, Colin, if you're my executive coach, at some point I'm going to go either, Colin, I don't think I need you anymore. That's not well, or you're going to say, you know, I'm tired of coaching you. So the thing is that 80 strategy or logic or robot strategy is making people dependent. Yes. Really, real leadership would help this person be this unique being and be self-sufficient, and I'm going to say generative eventually, and not need you anymore. But that hurts my bottom line.
The money.
The money. So that's where you can see we're talking about love and leadership, and it's not about the money. But if you're trying to make money, you will never, ever, ever develop people in their own uniqueness. And that is what's hurting the world.
Yes.
Real leaders would help facilitate the individual purpose and progress of unique individuals.
Absolutely.
And we see that. And so that's where we could be with this.
No, I love what you said there. So I just wanted to say that obviously I have changed over the last, you've seen the changes in me over the last kind of 9-10 months, from my strategy that I had to the strategy that I use to help people now. So first of all, I took myself out of corporate. And the reason I did this is because I want to help people. If I want to stay in corporate, I am helping corporate business people which means I'm not helping everybody, which is the first thing it's harming. I then change my strategy. So yes, I am qualified on the disc profiling system, which again gives the animalistic behaviors of them, changes it back, and then I look for their uniqueness during this and question asking. So that was my tool. Also, what I've started doing to help people is taking on my tarot cards. Now, people can say that they're nonsense, people can say whatever. Now, my reviews and my client base will say that they don't have to come back to me because it's unique to them. And they say, how many of these sessions do I need? And I say, well, today I'm hoping that you don't come back and see me again. And I don't mean that in a bad way. And they go, what? What do you mean? I want to come back. I say, you won't have to. Today you will gain enough knowledge on yourself and you will answer your own questions and you can go and put this into practice. You don't need me anymore. Well, how do you earn a living? No, it's not about earning a living. It's about you bettering your life. That's the whole point of you coming here, not the money. So what you've just said there touched me on so many levels. And I'm going to hand it back to you here because we'll go back to the kind of corporate structure.
Right. So there's four ways I look at this. And these are four things that really affect why the world is going the way it is. So the first thing, when I walk up to somebody who's claiming to be a leader or consultant, I'll say, what is the issue? And whatever they say the issue is, if the issue is not intangible, I know they're hurting the person and they're wrecking the world. Every cause is intangible because we're humans. And I'll give you an example. Way back, 25 years ago when I was a vice president of a company, somebody come up to me and they go, I have a problem with him. He's making me mad. And in the lunchroom, okay, so now, back then, I learned, I took all the leadership guru classes, I did all that stuff. And it's like, what's the cause? Figure it out and everything. So the cause is this person interacting. How do you solve it? I'll solve it. And basically what I did was I asked the guy that this guy had a problem with if he could eat lunch at a different time or a different place. He agreed. And the guy who had the original problem came back to me and started screaming at me. Why is he screaming at me? Well, here's the problem. This guy's issue is not that guy. This guy's issue is his marriage is falling apart.
Yep.
And so he's got all this pain at home. He comes to work. He's got to get, as a human, you got to get rid of that, right? That emotion. We talked about that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so he found a person to get rid of it on. That guy chews with his mouth open at the lunch table and it bothers him. And then he lets it all at this guy. When I solved the problem and removed his ability to get rid of the pain, he got twice as mad because he's essentially saying, now I got to find another person to displace my pain on. So it's like, okay, here's the issue. The cause is never, when it comes to humans, the cause is never tangible. If you solve a problem, it's a tangible cause, and you're going to create 3 more problems for an individual. It's called the law of unintended consequences. So what we do is we look at the intangible and notice people have energy. It's what you do, Colin.
Yeah.
Tarot cards, whatever, you're doing all this stuff, and we'll talk about it some other time about the conscious, unconscious brain. You're kind of taking them consciously over here while you're unconsciously figuring out what the intangible issue is.
Yeah.
And then you speak right to that. They feel safe. You let them know, and now they have all this energy. You didn't just get them out of a hole. You gave them a way to have more energy long-term for their life.
Yeah.
They don't need to come back to you.
Yeah, and this is the whole point of leadership for me, has been able to find out, bring them up beside me, and show them how to go on ahead of me. It's like I want them to move on. I don't want them to stay beside me. I don't want them to be here asking questions. I'm happy that they go 10 miles ahead of me and then stop every so often, waiting for me to catch up with whatever I'm doing and say, I've got a question. Or they can backtrack and say, Colin, remember we spoke about this, I'm struggling with that. And what we'll do is, as you say, we'll dissolve it back so that there's actually no problem there. And then they go, cool. They'll jump in their car and they'll go 10 miles up the road and then extra. That no one's ever held back with, as you say, it's always something intangible that we can't see and they're not looking at.
Right, so if you have a tangible solution, then it means they have to address it every day.
Yep.
If you have an intangible solution, they don't even deal with the tangible and they go past it. So the second thing I do is I always tell people to ask your leader, what's in it for me? So when your leader tries to get you to do something, tries to influence you, I like to say leaders can give you a reason and a value for what they want you to do. And that's one of the quickest ways to find out if you're dealing with a leader or a boss. A leader comes up and tells me, I need to go do blah, blah, blah. Why? You should be able to give me the reason why. And it gets back to, that's why I ask people, what's your definition of leadership? Man, if you can't give me that why, you are not a leader at all, because in order to be a leader that's really going to help people, you have to give people a why. And that's the fact. And what's in it for them, that's the emotion. So what's in it for me? And if somebody can't tell you what's in it for you, it's because it's what's in it for them. They're being a boss. So can you show? So that's why people are thrown by you. You're like, Colin, why aren't I coming back and giving you more money? Because they're used to dealing with people that I'm going to come to you and pay you because I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah.
No, you're supposed to be leading me, right?
Yeah. And they lead me in every session that I have with any client, they lead me. If I was to lead and give them the same every single time, that's me leading them. I go with their uniqueness. I find out about them, and that takes me the route that I need to go to show them the intangible parts that they can't see, or the solutions, if you want to call it that, in terms of how they look at things, then the value, and then the emotion that they will get from that value, so it's from start to finish, it's what they give to me that allows me to do my job.
Right. Every dictator starts with, don't think of yourself, think of other people. So they can't give you the reason and a value for doing something. That's every single dictator. And you'd think if we don't like dictators, we'd put an end to that. No, we don't do that. The third measure for leaders is if they think they are the smartest person.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You cannot be a leader and the smartest person. It takes a lot of work to continue being the smartest person. That's proving to me you don't understand what leadership is. So when I deal with people who think they are the smartest person, then I know that they're going to be a dictator. Enron was filled with leaders who thought they were the smartest people. In fact, it was called the smartest people in the room. There's nobody that can talk over them. So one of my favorite questions to ask people and to talk about in leadership is, if you think of the system or the group that has the most anarchy in it, you'd think it's a pirate ship.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're like, imagine a pirate ship. Who's the leader on the pirate ship? The captain, right?
Yeah, the captain. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, absolutely.
Who is the smartest guy on the pirate ship? Or let me put it this way. If there's a dispute between the captain and the leaders, who decides who's right?
That is a good question.
Do you know that a pirate ship had a position that did that? Do you realize there are organizations that the leader is the one who has final say on everything, and they are showing they have less understanding of leadership than a pirate ship? Do you know what the name of the position was on a pirate ship?
No.
Quartermaster.
Right, okay.
The quartermaster on a pirate ship had final say in everything except times of war. So if there's a war, the captain did everything. Every time other than time of war, the quartermaster had the final say. Can the quartermaster benefit from the decision? No. So that's the thing. You think about it, we're humans. You facilitate the purpose and progress of other people. You're supposed to be a leader. I'm a leader. I facilitate the purpose and progress. No one should question that. But you're a human.
Yes.
You might have situations where you do what benefits you. I wrote an article on LinkedIn that Dr. Russell Acuff studied leadership decisions in these corporations, and they did not correlate to increasing the profit for the shareholders. Something like 85 to 90% of the decisions correlated to facilitating the personal wealth and security of the decision makers.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, a pirate ship had a position that had final say and could not benefit from the decision because we're human, because a leader could start making those decisions. So whenever I look at a leadership group, I'll ask a leader, who can confront you? Who can tell you you're wrong? Who can decide, no, what the organization needs is this rather than you? And they look at you like, nobody.
Yeah.
And they're right then and there, I know you're a boss, you're a dictator, and this is why the world is falling apart. Because you don't understand that your role is not to be the smartest guy. Who do you have that can help you with that so you can handle those things?
And how often do you find when you go into these organizations that they will create a position after that?
Early on, people always have that position because they're scared, they're insecure. And it's like what we said, the most secure people know they need coaching, know they need training, know they need somebody to talk to that can help them. You know, I have a bunch of people who are my coaches because in their uniqueness, they're all better than me. And I value that. Okay. So I don't just have one person. I got like 5 people that can tell me I'm wrong. I've given them permission to walk up and do that. But as the company grows, they never have that because the whole goal is to get to that position. And what's funny about that is, remember, I work at the school system. So I'll walk into high school. And one of the speeches I love to give to teenagers is I'll say to teenagers, what do you think your job is in running your life? And really what I'm saying is, what do you think a leader is? Do you think your job is to come up with all of the options? Or do you think your job is to make the right decision what to do?
Yeah.
And here's the issue. A teenager's job is to make the right decision. It's not to come up with all the options. If you think, look, the only way I'm in control of my life is I'm only going to do the things I come up with, you're so limited.
Yeah.
You want to have a lot of people. You want to have people you talk to. I don't want to have to come up with all the ideas. You're going to interview one of the guys that I doc with who leads me in modeling and helps me come up with ideas. Okay. So the thing is that I want to do that because my job is to make that decision. And when teenagers understand that, we look at them and we go, they're mature. They're adults. Yes. How many leaders in corporations are teenagers and are immature? They do not know their jobs to make the right decision. They think their job is to come up with everything. And that's when we talked about flow. Flow is the essence of leadership. Flow is toggling. Half the time they don't know what they're doing because they're flowing. They're giving up control. They're considering it. The only way you can be the number one person in a job and keep it and grow a company is you have to flow, which means you have to give control half the time and you have to have other people giving you ideas because you know and are secure in the fact that my job is to make the decision and I'm in a position where I get to do the thing I uniquely love to do to help others.
Yes.
That's how that all comes together.
Yeah, and that's what I found personally. And I have found, and you've talked about the word ikigai before, and I found mine, and this is what I do. And not only does it benefit anyone that comes into my life, and I don't mean on a basis where it's for work, I mean anybody in my life will benefit. They will come and leave me either the same or they will leave better. Now, I don't even have to use an intention. I used to use that as an intention. Okay, I need to consciously do this. And that was, I loved, okay, so I had to consciously do it. Now, after learning from you, my coach, and other people, my other coaches, I have now been able to find the ikigai of me, of my life, of whatever, and now, not intentionally, people leave my life or are coming in and out of my life on a daily basis, either the same, but usually better off than where they come in. And that's because I think myself.
Yeah, so you said this earlier, and this is actually the fourth point, and it's exactly what you're saying right now, is you talked about making people better than you.
Yeah.
I call that generativity, and that's really like the real measure of a leader is, did you make this person better than you? So at the very start of this, you had this great opening. Again, we don't plan any of this, but you talked about like these people are saying, look at me, I'm amazing. Don't you want to be like me? Maybe you'll get up to me. And you're denying a person their uniqueness, and you're making yourself the standard. You and I are trying to make people better than us because we're trying to develop them in their uniqueness. And in their uniqueness, they will be better than us. There's an old problem solver, a brain teaser that goes something like this. You come into a small town and there's two barbers. One barber's hair is a mess and one barber's hair looks perfect. Which barber do you go to?
I would go to the one with the messy hair.
Why?
Because they will make me better looking than them.
But also, who cut his hair?
Right, okay, yeah.
The guy with the good hair got his hair cut by the messy barber. There's only two barbers out. So the thing is that's a backward step. It's like, wait a minute, you don't want to go to the guy who's got the good haircut, because who cut his hair? The guy with the bad haircut. Do you want a good haircut? Go there. So it's like, here's the thing, is that you can look at me and go, well, what kind of leader are you, John? Why aren't you in charge of blah, blah, blah? Or should you be looking at the people I've developed?
Yep.
So that's the problem, is when you see somebody selling themselves as, hey, I can make you a great leader because I'm an amazing leader. They don't understand leader. They'll make you an amazing boss because they're a boss. That's all they can offer you. The thing is you want to make people better. And I call it generativity. And I actually take this further. When I talk to somebody, if someone tells me how great they are at coaching, I say, can you show me somebody who's been coached by somebody you've coached?
Yep.
Take me out 2 generations. You coach somebody and they coach somebody. I guarantee you, Colin, there are people out there that have been benefited by the person who you have helped.
I believe so, and I believe that this happens naturally because they're doing it in their own way, and they're not doing it because they're being told to do this, or this. You know?
Right. So that's the thing, is that what would really fix this world is me helping people become so good, they're better than me in who they are, to the point they can make other people better, and
Yep.
this would spread. Now, these people aren't going to come back to me. I can't make a bunch of money off of them, but I'm making the world a better place. Versus if I make people dependent on me, they can never get past me. They can only have to come back to me all the time. I'm going to make the money, and I'm going to hurt the world. And who is the person that instituted this system of leadership?
Would that be the word guru?
The leadership gurus. And this is really, you look at all the big leadership gurus of the last 20 years, and I think over time, we're going to look through everything that we got taught over the last 20 years, and we're going to realize they set our brains and all our leaders in the wrong direction. And there was an answer, a dissolve for all this, literally the opposite of everything we've ever taught. And for 20 years, I've reached out to all these leadership gurus. I've shown them all the stuff. They don't have anything to do with it. So here's the thing, which is you and I are just going to take it right to the viewers. And that's the issue, is really, I don't blame any of our leaders right now.
Nope.
Where did they learn it from? I took all those leadership guru courses 20 years ago, okay? And it made me miserable, and it hurt me long term. So the thing is that all these leadership gurus are really the ones that are responsible for the state of the world that we have right now.
I believe so. And that just doesn't go from government level. That comes down to business, for spirituality, for all these things, because as our unique selves are attracted to different things. So I quite like the spiritual way of living, the free way of living. But again, there are spirituality coaches, there are spirituality gurus who could tell me to do. Do you know what I found to be the best thing for me was just flowing, and every day learning new things from new people and allowing them to make me grow, and then I make them grow, and we all grow together.
And that's why it flows the essence of leadership, because it's the only way to get your uniqueness out in a way that gives you more energy, and it results in love. So that's why all of these leadership people have been just going the absolute wrong direction.
Yep. And it goes back to love every time. Honestly, John, I can't thank you enough. Again, it's been absolutely fantastic, and I hope that we can get this out to some gurus, that they can understand their role, you know, and I don't want them to change the way that we're telling them to. I want them to adapt to themselves a bit more. And I hope there's some influencers and all these leaders that really want to do the job properly, you know, and they'll be able to hear. So again, thank you so much again. And I look forward to hearing from you next week, and we will get some more fantastic content out. Thank you so much. Cheers, John.